I've got a winner. At first, I had Andrew Yang and Bernie Sanders tied. And I've got to say, Andrew Yang and Cory Booker were absolutely charming. They had great jokes. They were pleasant. And Cory Booker had a great line. It was a great line because I already said it earlier in the week about Joe Biden being high when he was saying that drugs shouldn't be legalized or marijuana shouldn't be legalized. Yeah, I'm taking credit.
God,
Corey, I see you. You're watching TYT.
And thank you, Jake Uygur. We're going to get back to other things.
Seriously.
Cut it.
Okay. Now, having said that, no, the winner is Bernie Sanders. He broke the tie with Andrew Yang with the abortion point.
Yeah.
So a number of great points. One is, again, on abortion, he said, well, you say you're against big government, and then you get in between a woman and her doctor. That's nuts. You can't ever say you're for big government. I'm like, yes, right? How long have we been saying that on the Young Turks? And he had a number of points where he just separated himself from the field. Whereas, for example, as I'm famously known for really liking Elizabeth Warren as well, but I don't think she separated herself from the field in this debate. She kind of, in my opinion, said the same talking points and melted away a little bit as some of the other folks did. Whereas Bernie kept sharply making the progressive point of view in ways that really, really resonate. Look, he talked about Palestinians as human beings who deserve respect and dignity. I mean, he did it in the last election as well, and he's the only presidential candidate of either party in my lifetime to ever talk about that. And then finally on the fossil fuel industry, he's like, look, the overwhelming majority of the country already agrees that climate change is a disaster and we need to act on it. The problem is that the fossil fuel guys buy off the politicians, and then they keep all the profits and put all the costs onto us. So with those set of points, I think that resonates, and I thought those are almost all the best lines of the night, with the exception of Cory Booker's line, because it was mine.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, Jake, so when it comes to the winners, losers, a lot of times we like to look at whether or not what they said, what they did, and the whole rundown you just went through. But this, I think, one was different, and I mentioned this while it was happening. But Pete Buttigieg won the debate tonight, but not because of what he did, but because of what everyone else didn't do. So every time someone had some kind of front runner status, or at least had a boost in the polling, when Bernie Sanders jumped up, suddenly they jumped on Bernie Sanders, and everyone here was frustrated that Bernie didn't fight back hard enough. Then Biden got in, and Kamala Harris put a boot in his back. And then after that, Elizabeth Warren jumps up, and everybody says, "How are you gonna pay for that damn Medicare for all, crazy person you?" And she has to fight off it. Now that question came in 3 straight debates to her. The attacks continued, and then when other candidates attacked, then the media went with those same lines and attacked them. In this case, Buttigieg takes this jump, and everyone has these openings to go after him, and they go, yeah, so there's some people on stage sometimes that maybe roundabout ways don't know what they're doing when it comes to racial relations, but I'm gonna move on away from that. Kamala Harris did that. We heard the setup coming for Buttigieg, and she moved on. So he sat back and he went, oh man, nobody's gonna touch me. I'm gonna sit here and hang out. So, I mean, did you not see that?
Yeah, no, I think Jayar's making a terrific point. We talked before the debate began, and I said one of the biggest questions was whether anybody was going to go after Pete Buttigieg. So there was only 2 instances of it here, but other than that, Jayar's totally right. They let him off the hook. He's polling #1 in Iowa right now, and they're all sitting there having a weird Kamala Harris-Tulsi Gabbard debate. Well, what? Right? No, the guy's at #1 in Iowa. Focus, right? And so the only 2 things that touched him were Andrea Mitchell's question, which was actually a little devastating, about how the most amount of votes he's ever gotten is 11,000.
That was so
tiny.
salty.
So that's in South Bend.
Yeah, that was very
that
salty.
is.
Yeah.
And
also,
and he lost statewide race.
Yeah, sorry, Jake.
He lost
sorry to
statewide
interrupt
race
you.
by 25 points.
Yes, he did, exactly. I'm glad you brought that up. But I thought it was particularly interesting that after he got wrecked by Andrea Mitchell in that question, later on he made some weird point about how there's, so much years and years of experience, political experience on this stage, but what have they gotten done? That was a ballsy statement, considering he's a mayor of a small town that's dealing with real racial issues right now that he hasn't been able to fix. In fact, he's actually made worse.
Yeah, so that's a great point, Anna. But on top of that, he keeps talking about how, I don't need Washington experience. Washington experience was wrong. And, he keeps talking about the establishment in a derisive way. Dude, who do you think you are?
Exactly.
You're the establishment. All of your policies are all establishment policies. So I don't care that you don't live in Washington. If you agree with Washington, it's not in the rhetoric, it's not in the geography, it's in the policies. The only one who landed a punch on him is Tulsi Gabbard. At least I figured out what she did in the military. She was a sniper. Okay, so I mean, she takes out people one at a time, and when she comes for them, she is right. She was right about the line in Mexico. He did say it about drug cartels. She's right to call out the fact checkers. He's right to he was classic Buttigieg with the diversion of are you saying that we would invade Mexico? No, she didn't say that. You said you would use the military to fight the drug cartels in Mexico. Again, Tulsi Gabbard was right.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Look, I've been pretty clear in my criticisms of Tulsi Gabbard, but that was her strongest moment in this debate. I think that calling him out on that was, first of all, I actually didn't know that that was something that he proposed. So she just informed a lot of people about that stupid proposal, and I like the fact that she attacked him on it. Ida has a question.
Hi, Cenk. How are you? So first of all, I just want to say that
I'm awesome.
I endorse you for student council president. I will endorse you for anything. So I'm just saying that. But listen, this is what I wanted to ask you. There are a lot of people, black and brown people, who are trying to figure out who they're going to throw their vote behind. The next time these people hit this stage, what is it that they should be looking for from these candidates to help them and guide them to making the decision as to who they're going to vote for?
Yeah, you see, that's why I thought Bernie won. Because if you're a real person, you're looking for what's the change in my life, right? So who of these candidates is talking about something that would actually change my life? So what changes my life? Higher wages, health care. And Bernie's saying unequivocally, I am going to get all of you guys health care without co-pays, deductibles, and all the stress that goes along with that. If you're a regular person, you struggle with health care. You're really, really worried about the cost. And everybody else is, either, mealy-mouthed or has a plan that's a little bit belabored. In this case, I think that happens to be Elizabeth Warren. So I think that she shouldn't have fallen into the Republican trap of trying to ease into it with a public option, et cetera. We talked about that earlier. I think there was I thought it was a political mistake. But look, again, here we go to Buttigieg, right? Medicare for all, for those who want it. This is literally the worst title in political history, because what does it do? It says Medicare for all is right. That's why I'd like to glom onto it. And then I'm going to make it super clunky for those who want it. Just think about it this way. Imagine if some politician was like, Social Security for those who want it. Yeah. Bridges for those who want it. Roads, schools, and hospitals for those who want it.
Right. Now,
no, that's not a thing.
What did we
You're
say
either in favor of it or you're not.
What did we say as publicists, okay? We want to help these Democrats out who don't actually want to accomplish anything for the American people. So we're going to attach a label to something that's popular.
Well, and that's what I think we should be really clear that the Medicare for those who want it is not truly about those who want it, but really about those who don't want it. And those who don't want it are the health insurance companies that he's implicitly protecting with that BS narrative.
Yes. But this is the reason why I was asking that also is because Steyer said that the biggest crisis at hand right now is the climate, the environmental issues. But I felt like that was kind of tone deaf. Like, yeah, that's a big issue. But I think that so many people dying of cancer today, like right now, or people who have diabetes and can't get an EpiPen, and people who have, someone just died of an asthma attack the other day that's in my orbit. And I'm just thinking, is that really the most critical issue? Which is it is a very important issue, but I just feel like when the people who are not educated or uninformed, as many people are on these issues, they need some guidance. And I think that these people are supposed to be giving you the information to help you make these decisions, and they're just not answering the questions. They just were not answering the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do something a little unpopular here, certainly among progressives lately. I'm going to defend a billionaire. I think that Tom Steyer actually does make some really good points. Look, I think climate change is urgent. It's an interesting debate about what's more urgent, that or Medicare for all. But he has actually been in favor of fighting against climate change for a long time, well before he ran for office. But I think actually what's even more compelling about him is his constant pointing out of the fact that corporations have captured our government and we got to fight against corporate power. He might be a billionaire, but he's absolutely right about that. And that's a really important point that we shouldn't ignore. So we've got to be fair about everybody up there, no matter who they are and what their background is. And I thought Steyer made some good points. And I thought Andrew Yang did a good job of backing him up on that as well. Look, the one last thing on the debates is, I know it's uncomfortable, and Biden did have a good answer about the Justice Department should handle whether Trump is prosecuted or not. And I was like, hey, good, that's a great answer. That's right. The Justice Department is independent. They would decide whether to lock him up or not. But having said that, overall, man, Biden looked super wobbly up there. I mean, from the first question, looked very confused. He lost his train of thought within 13 seconds.
Yeah, he did.
Bernie checked on him at one
American
point.
senator. Yeah, and he said the only African-American senator woman ever has endorsed me. And Kamala Harris was like, hello, I'm right here.
Gosh.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? She's, of course, another African-American woman senator, and she has not endorsed him. She's running against him. Oh, come on, Joe. Jesus, man.
Can I bring up one thing? So I feel like overall this was one of the less exciting debates in terms of really learning anything new about the candidates. There were a couple of standout moments, but I feel like they were mostly treading water when I expected that with the primaries and the caucuses coming up so soon, they would be willing to throw a few more blows. But I think one of the reasons we maybe didn't get to a little bit more substance was we still have a ton of people on the stage. And one thing that really stood out to me, Cenk, I don't know if you agree, was it felt like Amy Klobuchar was being treated as if she was at 17% in the polls or something. They were going to her constantly when she arguably doesn't have a reason to even be in the race anymore. But she spoke almost as much as Joe Biden, as much as people who are polling many times what she's at right now.
So, John, you're totally right. Somebody sitting next to me said, wait, is Amy Klobuchar winning? Why are they constantly going to Amy Klobuchar, right? So, and look, she went back to the line of look under your chair. There's nothing under it. I'm not going to staple a diploma to under your chair. It's like the worst political line ever. It's not the worst slogan. Buttigieg has that. Okay, but like, I'm not going to give you anything. It's not a winning political strategy, nor is it something that the Democratic voters are interested in now. But the media apparently is super interested. It's almost as if this debate was, come on, guys, give Amy one more chance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Bill Maher will be pleased.
Outsiders are stealing the show. Yeah. Yes. Meanwhile, the outsiders are stealing the show. Andrew Yang with a great line. It was funny, but it was the reason why it resonated was because it was true. We're one of only 2 countries that don't have paid family leave, along with Papua New Guinea. So he pointing out that absurdity. See, that's being outside of Washington, where your policies are also outside of Washington, and you really are an outsider trying to bring new change. Now, I don't agree with Andrew's policies like as much as I do with Bernie's policies, but he had a really great night and made some great points.
Who pandered the most to the Republicans?
Probably Biden. I mean, I was sorry to answer the question for you, Cenk, but it was certainly Biden. I mean, it's the only thing that he markets as his strength. Like, I'm willing to reach across the aisle and work with the other party and get things done, but
Tulsi did it pretty hard too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like, so tell me what you think about the whole bipartisan sell, because Biden does it. That's the only thing he cites as the reason people should vote for him, which doesn't appeal to at least people like me at all. And then Tulsi does it, but in a different context. Like, we need to find bipartisan solutions, yada, yada, yada. So what is your view on that?
Yeah, I totally agree with what you said, Anna. If your calling card at a moment when Democratic voters loathe the Republican Party is, I can reach out to the Republican Party, not a winning strategy. So as I looked at this debate, I thought this was a critical moment for the 6 that were not in the top 4, right? So top 4 at this point are Biden, Buttigieg, Warren, and Sanders, right? Not in that order. And then the other 6 had to make a run, had to do something different and interesting to get people's attentions. I think overall they didn't. I thought Yang did great. I thought Booker did well, but not enough to really get into the running yet. Again, Yang continues to hang in there. I think the others are in a world of trouble. I mean, they're sliding away, Kamala Harris, Booker, et cetera, and certainly Klobuchar. But the other person sliding away is Biden. I mean, these wobbly performances, wrong strategy, wrong talking points, just wrong on every count. I think after this debate, he might start to slide away more significantly than even before. And remember, guys, he's now in 4th place in Iowa. Now you can say, look, it was really close between him, Warren, and Sanders, but he used to be in an overwhelming #1. Now he's slipping further and further down. If he finishes 4th in Iowa, he's hurt real bad. So now with Biden on wobbly legs, that leaves the only establishment guy as pretty much Buttigieg. And again, other than one question that was tough from Andrea Mitchell, so far the establishment media refuses to lay a glove on him.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to mention the biggest loser of the night?
Yeah, I mean, look, in terms of biggest loser, I think it was Biden because the other 6, had a tougher time. They had a higher bar to clear. So whereas Biden could have gotten back up on his legs and said, hey, you know what? I'm back, and could have been forceful and could have made a case for himself. Instead, I think he continued to slide, and that slide could lead to oblivion. So I thought it was actually a really bad night for Biden.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, Jayar. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.